The Bank of England has no reasons to worry about the rapidly rising inflation. The fact is that the UK consumer prices declined. The British inflation slowed down to 0.4% from 0.7%, whereas economists had expected an increase to 0.8%. At the same time, in Europe and the United States, consumer prices are confidently climbing. The pound sterling should have recouped some of its losses, even amid an insignificant rise in the UK inflation. However, the data disappointed investors and the currency continued losing in value. At the same time, prerequisites for the euro's advance appeared ahead of the preliminary estimates of the eurozone business activity. The data surprised market participants. The eurozone manufacturing PMI showed the best performance, jumping to 62.4 points. Economists had predicted a drop to 57.4 points. The services PMI advanced to 48.8 points, exceeding the forecast for a smaller rise to 46.6. Nevertheless, the indicator is still below the 50 points threshold that separates expansion from contraction. As a result, the composite PMI broke the 50-point level to settle at 52.5, and analysts had predicted an increase to 49.4. At the same time, the UK business activity grew even more than in the eurozone. Thus, the services PMI soared to 56.8 points, breaking the 50-point threshold. Economists had foreseen a rise to 51.5 points. Business activity in the manufacturing sector jumped to 57.9 instead of a drop to 54.6. As a result, the composite PMI surged to 56.6 from 49.6, increasing the 50 points threshold. Quite positive data on business activity managed to boost European currencies. However, it's likely to be short-lived advanced, as the US will disclose its statistical data a bit later. The US will publish its preliminary business activity reports as well as data on durable goods orders, which is expected to rise by 1.1%. This means that the US consumer activity may continue growing. At the same time, the US services PMI may remain unchanged, whereas the manufacturing PMI may advance to 59 points. As a result, the US composite PMI may climb to 59.9. Thus, the US statistical reports may offset the European ones. That's why European currencies may lose their support. The fact is that problems concerning the coronavirus pandemic are becoming graver. The European countries may extend and even impose tighter restrictive measures. Moreover, the EU may ban exports of coronavirus vaccine doses from the UK. At the beginning of the trading week, the euro-dollar pair dropped from the resistance level of 1.1950. As a result, the volume of short positions increased, thus leading to a decline towards the level of 1.1832. The market sentiment remains bearish. That's why the correctional movement is likely to continue. Notably, market participants have already broken the local low of 1.1835. If the price fixes below 1.8030, it may slide to 1.70 and 1.1650. According to the alternative scenario, the pair may bounce from 1.1835. This in turn may lead to a change in market sentiment. At the same time, the pound-dollar pair tumbled even more than the euro-dollar pair. The price hit a new local low of 1.3778. Analyzing the current trading chart, we can see that the pair fixed below the support level of 1.3750. That's why it has all chances to slide to 1.3700. Judging by the high interest in short positions, the pound sterling may fall to 1.3650. Notably, short positions are overheated. That's why traders may begin closing positions, thus triggering a rise and stagnation. And that's all for now. We keep monitoring the financial market situation. Subscribe to our channel and see you in several hours. We will take a close look at the US trading session.